Nani speaks out. Why Mbeumo and Cunha are struggling and why United fans must be patient. Welcome to United News, where Manchester United legends speak and we listen carefully to what they have to say. When someone who wore the shirt with distinction shares their thoughts about current players, when they offer insights from their own experience of playing at Old Trafford, we pay attention. Today we have Nani, one of the most decorated wingers in Manchester United's recent history, speaking about two of the club's big summer signings. Mbeumo and Cunha arrived with huge expectations after United spent over £130 million on the pair. But neither has hit the ground running. Both have struggled to make the impact fans hoped for. Nani thinks he knows why, and his explanation should make every United fan think twice before writing off these expensive signings. Let me take you through what Nani said, why it matters, and what it tells us about the challenge of playing for Manchester United. The summer signings that were supposed to change everything. Let me start by reminding you of the context surrounding Mbeumo and Cunha's arrivals at Manchester United. United spent big money on both players over the summer. Mbeumo cost roughly £70 million from Brentford. Cunha arrived from Wolves for £62.5 million. Combined, that is £132.5 million on two attacking players. These were not cheap punts on young talent. These were not gambles on players from lesser leagues. These were proven Premier League performers who had excelled for their previous clubs. United paid premium prices because they believed these players could make an immediate impact. Mbeumo had been sensational for Brentford. He scored goals, created chances, and was one of the most dangerous attackers outside the traditional Big Six clubs. He looked ready for the step up to a bigger club. Cunha had been excellent for Wolves. His technical ability, creativity, and eye for goal made him one of the most exciting players in the league. United beat off competition from other clubs to sign him. The expectation was clear. These two would transform United's attack. They would provide the creativity and goals that had been missing. They would help Ruben Amorim implement his tactical vision. They would be the difference between another disappointing season and a return to the top four. But it has not worked out that way. Not yet, anyway. The disappointing statistics. Let me hit you with some numbers that show just how much both players have struggled to replicate their previous form. Mbeumo has 1 goal and 1 assist in the Premier League so far this season. For a player who cost £70 million, for someone who was scoring and creating regularly at Brentford, this is well below expectations. Cunha has been even worse statistically. He is yet to register a single goal or assist in the Premier League this season. 0 goals, 0 assists. For a £62.5 million attacking player, this is borderline unacceptable. These are not the numbers Manchester United fans expected when the signings were announced. These are not the returns that justify the massive transfer fees spent. But before we condemn both players as expensive flops, before we write them off as another example of United's poor recruitment, we need to understand what is happening. And this is where Nani's comments become so valuable. What Nani actually said. Let me give you Nani's exact words, because they are important and deserve to be examined carefully. Speaking to Give Me Sport, Nani said, "I think they will bring a lot of good things. Like I said, to play for Man United is not the same as playing for any team. There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of history behind it. These players, they've got quality, they've got power, we know they can do something, but they need time." He continued, "At the beginning of the season, you could see probably some stress, some pressure on top of them, some responsibility, But once they stabilize, they'll do what they know. This is crucial analysis from someone who understands exactly what Mbeumo and Cunha are going through. Nani himself went through this adjustment when he joined Manchester United from Sporting Lisbon. He knows what it feels like to play under that pressure. Playing for Manchester United is different. Let me break down what Nani is really saying here, because it touches on something fundamental about Manchester United that many people do not fully understand. Playing for Manchester United is not like playing for any other club. The pressure is different. The expectations are different. The scrutiny is different. Everything is magnified. When you play for Brentford or Wolves, you can have a bad game and it barely makes the news. You can go through a rough patch and most people outside your club's fan base will not even notice. The media coverage is minimal. The pressure is manageable. But at Manchester United, everything changes. Every match is analyzed by millions of people around the world. Every mistake is highlighted and criticized. Every poor performance generates headlines and social media outrage. The spotlight never turns off. This is what Nani means when he says playing for United is not the same as playing for any team. The mental and emotional demands are completely different. Players who looked brilliant at smaller clubs can crumble under the United pressure. Think about how many players have moved to United and struggled despite having great careers elsewhere. Angel Di Maria was one of the best players in the world at Real Madrid. He flopped at United. Alexis Sanchez was sensational at Arsenal. He was terrible at United. Memphis Depay looked like a superstar at PSV. He could not handle United. The history is full of examples. Talented players who simply could not cope with what it means to play for Manchester United. The stress and pressure Nani identified. Nani specifically mentions that you can see the stress and pressure on Mbeumo and Cunha. This is an astute observation from someone who recognizes the signs. What does stress and pressure look like in a footballer? It shows up in several ways. Players start overthinking. Instead of playing on instinct, they second-guess themselves. They hesitate when they should be decisive. They make safe choices when they should be taking risks. Players become tense. Their body language changes. They look uncomfortable on the ball. Their first touch gets heavier. Their passes become less accurate. Everything that used to come naturally becomes labored. Players lose confidence. After a few mistakes or poor performances, doubt creeps in. They stop believing in themselves. They start worrying about what fans and media are saying. The mental side of the game becomes a battle. This is what Nani is seeing in Mbeumo and Cunha. Two talented players who are fighting against the pressure of their price tags, the expectations of the fan base, and the weight of the Manchester United shirt. The responsibility factor. Nani also mentions responsibility, and this is another crucial aspect of what makes playing for United so challenging. At Brentford, Mbeumo was one of several important players. If he had a bad game, the team could still function. Other players would step up. The burden was shared. At Wolves, Cunha was a key player but not the only one. The team did not live or die based on his performances alone. At Manchester United, both players are suddenly carrying much more responsibility. They are supposed to be the solution to United's attacking problems. They are £70 and £62 million signings who are expected to deliver immediately. The team is relying on them to perform. This responsibility can be crushing, especially early in your United career when you are still trying to find your feet. You feel like every match, every touch, every decision matters enormously. The pressure to deliver can actually prevent you from delivering. Why time is crucial. The key part of Nani's message is that both players need time. He believes that once they stabilize, they will show what they can do. This is important for Manchester United fans to hear and understand. Not every signing hits the ground running. Not every player adapts immediately. Sometimes quality players need months to adjust to a new club, new teammates, new tactics, and new pressures. Think about some successful United signings from the past. Patrice Evra struggled badly in his first few months. He looked like a disaster. Fans questioned why United had signed him. But he was given time, he adjusted, and he became one of the best left-backs in United's history. Nemanja Vidic had a difficult start too. He looked uncomfortable in the Premier League initially. The pace and physicality seemed too much for him. But United stuck with him, he adapted, and he became a club legend. Even Cristiano Ronaldo took time to develop at United. His first couple of seasons were inconsistent. He showed flashes of brilliance but also made mistakes and frustrated fans. It was only in his third season that everything clicked and he became the superstar we remember. The point is that patience often pays off with talented players. Writing them off after a few months is premature and short-sighted. The quality is there. One thing Nani is absolutely clear about: both Mbeumo and Cunha have quality. They have power. They can do something special. This is important validation from a former United winger who knows exactly what it takes to succeed in that position. Nani is not making excuses for poor players. He is defending talented players who are going through a difficult adjustment period. Nani has watched them play. He has seen their qualities. He knows they have the technical ability, the physical attributes, and the football intelligence to succeed at Manchester United. The quality has not disappeared just because they moved clubs. Mbeumo did not forget how to play football when he signed for United. Cunha did not lose his technical ability when he left Wolves. What has happened is that the circumstances have changed. The environment is different. The pressure is greater. And they need time to adapt to these new circumstances while maintaining their quality. The shot volume statistics. Now let me address something interesting mentioned in the report. Despite their poor goal and assist numbers, both Mbeumo and Cunha are actually shooting a lot. Mbeumo has taken the second most shots in the Premier League this season with 17, trailing only Erling Haaland, who has 29. Cunha is not far behind with 15 shots. This is actually an increase in shot volume compared to last season for Manchester United. The team is getting into shooting positions more often. The attackers are being more aggressive about taking chances. On the surface, this sounds positive. More shots should lead to more goals, right? But there is a caveat mentioned in the report. Both players are firing shots from everywhere, not necessarily from good positions. This is a sign of what Nani was talking about. Players under pressure, trying too hard to make an impact, taking shots they probably should not take. They are forcing things rather than letting the game come to them naturally. What this says about United's attack. The fact that United are generating more shots but not more goals tells us something important about the state of their attack. Volume is up but quality is down. United are taking more shots but from worse positions. This suggests a lack of composure, a lack of patience in the final third. Good attacks work the ball into dangerous positions before shooting. They create high-quality chances where the probability of scoring is high. Bad attacks just fire shots from anywhere hoping something goes in. Right now, United's attack looks more like the latter. Mbeumo and Cunha are shooting from distance, from tight angles, from crowded positions. They are taking low-percentage shots because they feel pressure to produce. This is actually a coaching issue as much as a player issue. Ruben Amorim needs to work with both players on shot selection. When to shoot, when to pass, when to work the ball into better positions. If United can improve the quality of their chances while maintaining the volume, the goals will come. But right now, they are taking too many shots that have little chance of going in. The tactical fit question. Another factor that might be affecting both players is the tactical system. Ruben Amorim plays a 3-4-2-1 formation that is quite specific in its demands. At Brentford, Mbeumo played in a different system. At Wolves, Cunha played in a different system. Now they are being asked to adapt to Amorim's tactics while also adjusting to the pressure of playing for United. This is a double adaptation. New club and new tactical role. That is a lot to handle simultaneously. Some players adapt quickly to new tactical systems. Others take longer. It depends on their football intelligence, their versatility, and how different the new system is from what they are used to. Maybe Mbeumo and Cunha are still trying to understand exactly what Amorim wants from them. Maybe they are still learning their roles within the system. Maybe they have not yet developed the understanding with teammates that is necessary for the system to function smoothly. All of these are legitimate reasons why talented players might struggle initially at a new club. And all of them take time to resolve. The comparison to their previous clubs. Let me talk about why players often look better at smaller clubs than at big clubs, because this is relevant to understanding Mbeumo and Cunha's situations. At Brentford, Mbeumo was the main man. The team was built to get him the ball in good positions. Teammates looked for him. The tactics maximized his strengths. He had freedom to play his natural game. At Wolves, Cunha was a similar focal point. The attack ran through him. He had the ball a lot. He could express himself without too much tactical restriction. At Manchester United, both players are now part of a bigger ensemble. They are not automatically the main focus of attacks. They have to share responsibility with other talented players. They have less freedom because the tactical system is more structured. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but it is different. And different takes time to adjust to. Additionally, when you play for a smaller club, opponents often do not focus all their defensive attention on you. But when you play for Manchester United, every team you face studies you carefully. They know your strengths. They plan specifically to stop you. Defending against you becomes a priority. This is another adjustment Mbeumo and Cunha have to make. They are facing better organized, more focused defensive attention than they did at their previous clubs. What United fans need to do. Based on Nani's comments and everything we know about how players adjust to Manchester United, here is what fans need to do. First, be patient. Give Mbeumo and Cunha time to adapt. Do not write them off after a few difficult months. Remember that many successful United players had rough starts. Second, support them. These are talented players who are working hard and trying their best. They need encouragement, not constant criticism. Create a positive atmosphere that helps them relax and play their natural game. Third, manage expectations. They might not become world beaters overnight. They might have ups and downs. Accept that this is part of the process. Fourth, trust in their quality. Nani is right that both players have the ability to succeed at United. The talent is there. It just needs time to emerge in this new environment. Fifth, focus on the positives. Both players are getting into shooting positions. They are working hard. They are trying to make things happen. These are good signs even if the end product is not there yet. What Amorim needs to do. While fans need to be patient, Ruben Amorim also has responsibilities in helping these players succeed. First, give them clear instructions. Make sure they understand exactly what you want from them tactically. Remove any confusion about their roles. Second, build their confidence. Praise what they do well. Help them see their progress even when results are not coming. Protect them from excessive criticism. Third, work on their decision-making. Help them understand when to shoot and when to pass. Improve the quality of chances they are taking. Fourth, find the right positions for them. Make sure they are playing in roles that suit their strengths. Do not force them into positions where they cannot excel. Fifth, integrate them properly with teammates. Help them build understanding and relationships with other players. Create partnerships and combinations that work. Sixth, consider rest and rotation. If they are carrying too much pressure, maybe easing the burden by rotating them occasionally could help. These are all things a good manager does to help expensive signings settle and succeed. Amorim needs to be proactive in supporting Mbeumo and Cunha. The long-term perspective. Let me finish with some perspective on what success would look like for these signings. United did not spend £132.5 million expecting immediate perfection. They invested in quality players who they believe will contribute over many years. If by the end of the season, both players are performing well and showing they can be key contributors, that would be a successful first year. The adjustment period would be complete. The foundation would be laid for future success. If by next season, they are established stars producing consistently good performances and numbers, United will have two excellent attacking players for years to come. This is the timeline fans should be thinking about. Not match to match or even month to month, but season by season. The question is not whether Mbeumo and Cunha can succeed at United. The question is whether United will give them the time and support they need to succeed. Based on the club's recent history of impatience with signings, I am not entirely confident they will. But Nani is right that they should. Final thoughts. Nani's comments about Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha are valuable because they come from someone who truly understands what these players are experiencing. The pressure of playing for Manchester United is real. The adjustment period is difficult. Talented players can struggle initially and then come good with time and support. Both Mbeumo and Cunha have quality. Both can succeed at United. But they need patience from fans, support from coaches, and time to adapt to their new environment. The shot statistics are interesting. They show players trying hard, being aggressive, looking to make things happen. But they also show players forcing things, taking low-quality chances, not yet playing with the composure that comes from feeling settled. As the season progresses, if United stick with these players and help them through this difficult period, I believe we will see them start to show their true quality. The goals and assists will come. the performances will improve. The £132.5 million will start to look like money well spent. But this requires patience and faith. Two things that Manchester United fans and the club itself have not always shown in recent years. Let us hope that Nani's words are heard and heeded, because he is absolutely right. Stay connected with Unite United News. Thank you for reading this analysis of Nani's comments about Mbeumo and Cunha at Manchester United. Here at Unite United News, we bring you perspectives from United legends who understand what it takes to succeed at this great club. When someone like Nani speaks, we listen and break down what it means for current players and fans. Keep checking back for more updates on how Mbeumo and Cunha progress this season. We will be tracking their performances, their statistics, and their development closely. Remember, patience is a virtue in football. Not every signing clicks immediately. Give these talented players the time they need to show what they can do. Glory, glory, Man United. We are all in this together, supporting our players through the difficult times as well as celebrating the good times.